Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining us today. I'm Jonathan Nicholson with ISP Supplies. We're very excited about today's presentation. We will be discussing the new industry-changing ALTA Labs access points, which are available now, their line of switches, which are right around the corner, and management platform, which is jam-packed with features, putting control and optimization in your hands. This product was developed with you, the integrator, as well as your end user in mind. From every single design aspect, feature set, management tool option, antenna pattern, heatsink, down to the weight of the access point. Every detail was custom tailored specifically for you. If you currently deliver or plan on delivering gigabit connectivity, either via fiber or wireless, then you need ALTA Labs in your network. Gigabit connectivity needs ALTA Labs Wi-Fi. Now, the question is, why should you choose ALTA Labs for your high bandwidth customers, and what makes them so special? And that's why we're here today. That's what we're going to cover in today's discussion. Today, we're joined by Matt Hardy and Tony Rassavong of ALTA Labs. They're here to answer all of your questions that we have about their company, their product, and their future plans. So let's get this started. Gentlemen, the floor is all yours.
Thanks, Jonathan. Again, my name is Tony Rassavong. I'll quickly introduce myself before I hand it over to Matt. So I've been in the industry for probably 17, 18 years now. This might date me a little bit, but I started selling antennas at Pacific Wireless. They later sold that to Lair Technologies. And then I jumped to the distribution side of things. I worked for Streakway for about 6 years. And then Ubiquity came around and I started working there for about 9 years, launching the various platforms there. Super excited to talk to you guys about why ALTA and ALTA Labs, but I'll go ahead and hand it over to Matt and he can introduce himself.
Hey guys, hopefully you can hear me okay. First off, I just want to say thanks, Tony, for the kickoff. And Jonathan, man, you have like the best podcast voice ever.
So I have a face for radio.
I feel awkward following you up because you sounded amazing. Yes, I'm the same similar story to Tony. I was in the industry for a while. We did a few startups back in 2005, 2006, and so on, and ended up doing wireless stuff for the Navy, DoD, and stuff like that. And then ultimately ended up working with Tony at Ubiquity. And now we've kind of run full circle, and we have kind of a team of old cohorts and coworkers working on this new product, which we find pretty exciting. And so far, the customers find it exciting too. So we're excited to see how this goes, and hopefully this is a fun call for all of you as well.
Appreciate it, Matt. So we'll jump right in of why ALTA. So we've redefined how enterprise, business, and residential users connect to the outside world by developing innovative technology that challenges the norm with reliability, security, and scalability in mind. The ALTA experience was designed with the most novice to the most experienced users in mind. So anyone can install and use our product because of the ease of use that we kind of built in with our controller and access points. Sound vision technology definitely breaks the mold when it comes to tech manufacturing, constantly on the cutting edge of technology and innovation. We strive to raise the bar when it comes to quality and design. So our future focused vision stems from our past with over 20 years of experience in the tech industry. In speaking to dealers like you guys, MSPs, integrators, WISP over the years, we realize that our customers are busy and they're always on the job sites daily. So meeting with clients, and they don't have time to order from several manufacturers. So we brought everything together from True Audio, Vessel, Current, Unified Copper, and Forge, and now our very own networking brand, ALTA Labs. So ALTA is led by industry professionals like Matt alluded to just now, well known in the industry with extensive hardware and software development experience with the extensive knowledge of the needs of our customers. Some of you guys might have heard of the name Jeff Hansen. He's our CTO. He worked at Ubiquity as the Unify lead for a number of years as well. Ben Moore is our owner and board member at Sound Vision Technologies, and he's helping with the ALTA Labs brand as well here. So if you guys go to Wispapalooza, you might see Ben there for the first time in many years. So I'm super excited about that event. So 3 things I want to point out. Our goal is to create accessible, intelligent products that make your network environment powerful and reliable. We aim to make your network better than where it is today with feature-rich hardware and software that are familiar to you, but also more unique features that set us apart from the rest. Our commitment in making professional-grade product that makes your life better and easier, and always, excuse me, and always being available from pre-sale support to support on the technical side with Matt and his team. We'll always be here, whether through our forum, chat, email, or by phone. We're always here to help and here to stay. 5 things I want to point out that kind of is more specific to the ALTA experience and what makes us extraordinary. Number 1, reliability, stability, and ease of use. If that's important to you, you need to use our products. We provide an incredible platform that offers innovative proprietary features, but easy enough that anyone can deploy our network everywhere in minutes. You'll see a huge difference from the very second you set up your APs. And I've set up multiple APs using multiple controllers from competing and competitive products. And ours is by far one of the easiest that I've set up in many years. 2, we have a sales team, a tech support team that you can speak to in person, in addition to our valued distributors like ISP Supplies. We will work hand in hand alongside our channel distributors to make sure you are taken care of from every aspect, start to finish. We'll also provide marketing design resources if needed at no additional costs. Number 3, we've done extensive testing internally and through third-party resources. Some of you have seen some of these non-biased reviews from credible resources on YouTube recently from Crosstalk Solutions, Lawrence Systems, TechFlow, and many, many others. You can check out stories and feedback on our forum. ALTA Labs provide products with higher performance and reliability than most of our competitors, and you'll love our products the moment you turn it on. 4, we will continue to add our training videos and will always provide tech support to everyone that installs our product. And 5, we provide a very strong margin structure with more protection than our competitors for both our distribution, sub-distribution, and installation partners than any others. For more information, you can contact your rep at ISP Supplies directly on pricing. So to encapsulate the ALTA experience, our products are designed for seamless installation with easy-to-use management interface available on your devices. Designing the ALTA management platform for optimum scalability using high availability architecture for ultimate convenience and worldwide accessibility. So most of our competitors charge us for recurring software licensing fees. Our core management interface requires no licensing fees and it'll always be free. So we always are ready whenever or wherever you'll need us. Make sure you join our active community forum for quick feature requests, suggestions, bug reports, or to chat with our engineers directly. Our help center will always have the most up-to-date information so you don't have to scour the internet. So I invite you to visit our website if you haven't done so already. And with that, I will hand it over to Matt to talk about our products.
All right, cool. Thanks, Tony. Before I start, I wanted to add on to one thing you said, Tony, about in one of the earlier slides, and many people don't know this, especially coming from an ISP background. Many of you are familiar with, WISPA and the wireless ISP industry, and that's where ISP Supplies comes in. One thing that I was actually impressed with is when I first started at, well, Sound Vision or Alta or whichever brand you want to pick, they've had brands being manufactured overseas, quality control processes, all kinds of certifications that, you know, I wasn't familiar with at other companies. And it was pretty impressive to me. So to see that we are able to manufacture things overseas, not necessarily in China, but other countries as well, and meet our deadlines was a huge thing for me. And I think that you guys, as customers buying the product, would appreciate that.
Yep.
So I just wanted to point that out. Like we've been doing it for 20 years, speakers, amplifiers, all of that. And now we're just getting into wireless, and we've brought on a team of, you know, veterans, very skilled in wireless products to add on to the manufacturing skills and things like that. And the second thing to add on to that is this company has always had phone support, and we've kind of beefed it up a little bit recently. But like Tony said, the forum obviously has been pretty successful, and we also have live chat and things like that. So I think just the personal touch to customers is a big thing, and I wanted to start with that. And for instance, last night, Jeff, who Tony just mentioned, found a bug and fixed it at 2 a.m. last night, and pushed out an update. And customers already said that it's fixed and they don't have any problems anymore. So I mean, it's just little things like that. We're a small, scrappy company, but we do have a background and we do have funding. It's just we don't act like a big company. So I just wanted to start with that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, good points.
Anything you want to add, Tony?
No, that's perfect. We're small, nimble, and we're here to listen to you guys. I think that's kind of has been lost by some of these larger companies that kind of have forgotten that site is that the customers, the installers, the WISP, those are the guys that are out there using our products. That's who we're going to listen to. That's who we're going to cater our feature requests or hardware requests from. So feel free to be as active as you can on our forum, because we will listen to you guys. Matt and his team and Jeff and his team will jump on it right away. So we're pretty active on our forum. But yeah, get a hold of us anywhere, anytime.
Yep. And okay, so I'll just go through this. Tony, do you need a code word for when I need to switch slides?
I'll try to listen to what you're saying, and I'll try to move along.
So a lot of this on this slide is pretty self-explanatory. Our goal was to create this interface that was intuitive. So basically, we are building documentation, obviously, but everything should be intuitive enough that, you know, a 13-year-old could go on and set up wireless network, but at the same time have the same kind of feature set that enterprise networks would need. So that's kind of our goal, is if we have to write something down in documentation, maybe we're building it wrong. So obviously, multi-site management, if you have multiple sites, I mean, it's self-explanatory. A mobile app that works fluidly, which is still in development. Android's a little bit behind iPhone. And if you guys want updates, feel free to check out our forum on those. It's still in development. And then the dashboard, you know, if you want to see which SSID your client devices are connected to, that kind of stuff, you can move it around, select whatever you want. So it's pretty self-explanatory, pretty intuitive interface, and
we realize and we realize that not all installers and WISP, all you guys are unique, and you guys want to see different features on the dashboard, so you can close or add whatever features you want on the dashboard that you want to see that we have available. So that's why the customizable dashboard's there.
Yeah, and to add to that, we do market to different industries. This one is more of an ISP centric industry, obviously, but we also do cater towards AV installers. So we do want to make it a one size fits all, but also customizable enough so that it fits whatever needs that you have are. And so far, it's been pretty good. The feedback's been good.
Yep, exactly.
I don't know exactly how many on this call have tried the products. Like I said, the features are pretty intuitive. The device cards, that's a, you can open up multiple access points, move them around. We've gotten some feedback on that. So still a work in progress, but so far customers seem to like it. The color coding is pretty unique. And instead of going to each, I'll just give you an example. Instead of going to each access point and saying this access point in so-and-so room has this SSID, this is SSID, so-and-so and so-and-so, you can create a color. Well, we called it color because we wanted to kind of keep it agnostic to the actual devices. You can assign to that color different SSIDs, VLANs, guest settings, things like that. And then if you add a new AP, all you have to do is add it to that color. And you can add one AP to multiple colors and things like that. So it's pretty flexible and scalable. And if you have many APs on the same network, it's just a little bit easier than having to go and manage all the different APs individually. So it's kind of like a grouping of settings, and so far customers have liked it, even though the color coding seems a little confusing at first. I actually I like it. It's a pretty neat feature. Status snapshots, that's pretty self-explanatory. The next feature on the next slide is probably my favorite, which I think sets us apart the most. Again, I don't know how many of you on the call have used the products, but this multi-password authentication is probably the coolest feature that we have, in my opinion. And basically, just a quick introduction to it. If you go to a coffee shop, you'll see, coffee shop employees, for the SSID, coffee shop staff, coffee shop guest. So when you do a scan, you see different SSIDs for, segmenting the network a little differently. But what ALTA does, which is pretty cool, it just says coffee shop, and if the guests enter password guest, then they get assigned to a special guest rate limited or VLAN applied network. But if you add employee 123, then you get access to all the servers in the back room, just using the same SSID. So that's a really cool feature, and customers have loved it so far. So I hope that you guys on the call that haven't tried it yet get to try it and let us know how you like it. I'm going to make a joke here about dark mode. I think that I'm maybe
Hey,
getting a little old. But
Matt, before you do that, I'll add to that the passwords, you can do as many passwords as you want. So sometimes, well, ours, there's a maximum of 8 SSIDs. So you can still do multiple SSIDs if you want. So for the guys that still want multiple SSIDs, that is still available. But you can also do multiple passwords, and there's not really a limit on how many groups of passwords that you can do. So you can do multiple passwords to kind of bypass the 8 SSID limit if needed. But
yeah,
go ahead.
for sure. No, the next one, Tony, don't hate me, but I'm just making fun of this dark mode thing because I think I'm old. And when we released this dark mode, all the customers started saying, yes, dark mode, yes. And I'm like, who What is dark mode? But anyways, I'm just joking about that. It is pretty cool because the web interface does match your system settings. So when it's nighttime, last night when we sent out updates at 2 a.m. It is kind of cool that the screen is dark. So we do have a pretty talented design team and front end development team that builds these cool features for us, and they're pretty quick. Site manager, we kind of already talked about. It's pretty self-explanatory, and one thing I'll add about this is it is cool. We've had a lot of discussions, and we're going through compliance kind of discussions about privacy and managing users' data. And one thing I did want to add about this is there are a lot of concerns about, quote, the cloud. And I could talk about this. I'll talk about it a little bit in one of the next slides. But the site manager is a cool feature, and it's been pretty useful for us because we don't have access to any of the data on your devices or your user interface or anything. But you can, let's say, I'm talking to one of you guys that's having some weird issue. You can invite Matt at ALTA.inc. And then I can get access to your cloud and look at it. But without that, it's not possible. So you can create multiple sites if you have a coffee shop or a bar or something, whatever it is. You can have multiple sites, keep everything isolated with different users. So pretty self-explanatory, but it is pretty nice and it works pretty well so far. So next slide, please. Okay, so DPI Engine is pretty neat. When I first heard about this product, I'm used to layer 2 access points, as many of you probably are as well. And I used to do embedded development for networking devices, so I understand how it works. But these access points have an ability to monitor the network and analyze the traffic based on certain things. So the DPI engine that's built into each individual access point is pretty powerful, and I'm pretty impressed, to be honest. I was kind of skeptical at first, but it works pretty well. And then later on when we add our own switches and security gateways, obviously we'll have more features. But so far it works pretty well. You're able to block domains or certain types of traffic at the access point level, which it could be beneficial for your networks if you have a large network. Hotspot functionality, that's pretty normal. We do have a built-in hotspot, and then also the ability to integrate with third-party hotspots. The last bullet point, on the fly changes and scanning. So that's kind of cool. A lot of you are probably familiar with other vendors. When you make a change to a wireless device, it kind of has to do a soft reboot to reload the configuration and settings. All of ours have been built so that if you make a change, it's instant and it doesn't require that soft reboot that takes 45 seconds. So that's kind of invaluable, especially if you imagine putting these in some super crowded, congested place with hundreds of people. You don't want to take the network down. And I'll add one more thing to that access points firmware updates, they take maybe 1 second. So if a firmware update happens, it's not going to take 2 minutes for it to reload the flash and reboot, things like that. So we've put a lot of thought into that, and Jeff's done a really good job of making sure downtime is as little as possible. So the cloud, that's a hot topic for a lot of people. I will say that this image here, this infograph, does kind of show what we intended to do with the cloud. And I'm kind of blown away at the way that Jeff has architected the cloud infrastructure. I'm very familiar with different cloud architectures, and I used to spend the night in data centers and things like that. So I totally get it. We have a completely redundant system, servers based in multiple countries. We are also considering the privacy concerns in Europe and things like that. But failover, redundancy, load balancing, I think everything has been taken into consideration, and we are talking about doing some kind of third-party audit to appease end users' concerns, because a lot of people have distrust of the cloud. But I'm speaking honestly, after seeing the way it's been architected, I'm really, really impressed. So I think that you will be too. We haven't had any downtimes except for the last time AWS had a global outage. So, and then to add to that, we are also discussing locally hosted on-premises devices to host your own controller. This next feature, SSID broadcasting flexibility, it's pretty self-explanatory. If your network goes out, if your internet goes out, your main connection goes out, then you can turn off the SSID, and then customers don't connect and think that there's something wrong with your Wi-Fi when it's really something with your internet. So customers have already been using that. Yeah, all of this is on our website. You've probably read this. So Wi-Fi 6 with Wi-Fi 7 benefits, 4K QAM. It works great. The antenna design is great. In fact, a lot of the customers that we've been talking to, they overbuy products and put them maybe too densely installed, where the primary access point could have maybe covered the entire area. So far the performance is great. I have a gigabit internet. I can almost get that on wireless, and other customers have said the same thing. The antenna is great. There's not much more to say about that. IP54 rated. We are working on that.
With the antenna design, since you brought up antenna, with the antenna's design, you can actually mount it on the wall, put it on your desktop, or however you want to mount it. The radiation pattern of the antenna is pretty similar of wherever you mount the access point yourself. And since we're at the talking about the access point as well, the mounts themselves are going to be universal from AP to AP. So when you're looking to upgrade from our AP6, AP6 Pro, it's going to be interchangeable depending on when you want to upgrade. You'll be able to just snap right in. The footprint of the antenna itself is actually pretty small as well. I'm not sure of the exact dimensions, but it's a lot smaller than maybe what it looks like here on the slide. But the dimension is on our data sheet. But go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, and then just the last thing, we are working on an outdoor, like a fully outdoor access point. That'll be, I don't know what the rating is. Maybe Tony, IP67 or 68, I don't remember. I think 68, but yeah, currently the AP6 Pro is IP54 rated. So I talked to one customer this morning that was installing it under an Eve. So he's going to let me know, how it works. But yeah, under an Eve kind of install is how these is what we're saying. They should work fine as long as there's not direct water intrusion. But we are working on the outdoor products as well.
So the biggest difference on the AP6 versus the AP6 Pro is that it's 2x2 on the 5 gig instead of 4x4. And these are not IP54 rated, so these are just indoor access points. So do not install these outdoors. But it's got all the other features like we have on the AP6 Pro, like the advanced heat sink on the back, Bluetooth capability, and also the reset button. So one thing I do want to highlight is that you don't need a special tool to reset or access point if needed. It's just a push of the button at the back. You just hold it down for, I think, a few seconds, so you're not accidentally pushing it at all times and resetting it. So it's got to be a hold for a certain amount of time, and then it resets the AP. And it's as simple as that. It will just go off, and you'll be able to set that up again, and it'll pop up on your controller to be ready to be set up.
Yeah, and like Tony said, the AP6 is still it's still superior to a lot of competitive products. It's 2x2, but it still provides, like it says, optimal performance. And sometimes you don't, especially in dense environments, you don't really need, 4x4 access points all over the place. So it's just a different tool to put in your bag and use.
So those are the two access point we are launching with, and it's available now. Or outdoor access point we're probably shooting for end of the year, early part of next year. And we'll jump into our switches. So our switches, we're going to launch our switches, just our 3 switches with our 8, 16, and 24 ports. The 8 ports are going to be available at the end of this month. And then the 24 and 16 port switches are going to be available at the end of August. But go ahead and talk a little bit about the switch, Matt.
So just to start off, I don't know if you guys noticed, but this is an actual photo of the device. It's definitely not a mock-up. I'm just joking.
Matt and his joke.
Yeah, I tell too many jokes. Sorry, Tony. No, this is definitely mock-up, but we do have some in the lab, and we should post some pictures soon of the real devices. We've already started making them, and the firmware has already been pushed to production, and it's a real product, despite the cartoon mock-up that we have here. Just joking, Tony. But anyways, yes, we have 3 versions, like Tony said. There's been, we've gotten some feedback already, even though customers haven't really seen them yet. So I guess my main comment I would make to you guys, we do have SFP plus ports, and we are talking about SFP plus plus. So there's unlimited room for growth in these products. But I guess what we would like to hear is what you guys need, because you guys are more on the ISP side, and are you going to use them at your tower sites, or what do you want to use them for? So we're still working on these. We do have these 3 that are kind of all done pretty much, but we can always keep going, and then especially with the routers and things like that later. But the idea for these are the same. Like it says, seamless setup, ALTA management interface, it will just automatically show up in your cloud, and you can turn on PoE. And the power budget is pretty amazing. You can power, and some PoE switches they don't allow to power on, like this one that Tony showed at the 8-port switch, the 60-watt budget. Some other, we've had some customers that use cheaper versions of switches, and the power budget overall on the backplane is not as great. So we've put a lot of thought into these, and customers so far are pretty excited about it. So we'll probably start shipping these out, to some beta testers pretty soon. And if you're interested in that, reach out to us.
All right, appreciate it, Matt. So we'll jump right into the examples and stories that you can find on our forum. So if you've installed our products before, I invite you guys to go to our forum and post your stories. We want to see it. So I know there's some giveaways that we've done in the past. We'll continue to do more of those, but feel free to jump on our forum to post stories. We love to see it. Your peers love to see it as well, and it's a lot of these pictures are pretty cool. But here's an example with the KOP-FC here in Utah. The ALTA Labs management interface is simple enough for anyone to use, but complex enough to meet the needs of any business environment. This facility specifically includes an indoor and outdoor pools. I believe there's multiple of each. Multiple basketball courts, weight and cardio rooms, outdoor tennis and pickleball courts, park and playground, and home to the Utah Olympic Oval, where they use it for Olympic speed skating, Olympic speed skating competitions. So I just got a quote that I pulled up that he mentioned that he said, and I quote, "We just got done swapping out our old Unify APs for AP6 Pros, and I wanted to share the results of our site survey before and after. Getting 100 megs way out on the edge of the field where we have summer movie nights. Several APs were used for seamless roaming." So as you can see there, they were not getting their bandwidth and throughput on the edge portion of their network was very low, and now they're ecstatic to get over 100 megs out at the edge and in the lawn area of where these were installed. As you can see listed there, they're excited about some of those features that Matt mentioned earlier with multi-password authentication for customers and clients, hotspots, that's what they're using. And then the advanced DPI engine for the filtering to block out. I believe they're doing multiple applications or specific sites that they're blocking out for the users at this fitness center. Here's just an example. So it's scalable, and it's with the multi-site management. These guys have it installed in multiple showrooms and multiple offices. Here's what they said about our product. It is a breath of fresh air to come across a product that not only promises exceptional performance, but delivers on it. ALTA Labs' new AP6 Pro is a prime example of such a product. Having been privy to hands-on tests of this device replacing a few Arachnus Wi-Fi access points in our 2,500 square feet showroom, we've seen the AP6 Pro exceed our expectations. And last story I wanted to share was this fitness culture. So Steve created this fitness app called Fitness Culture that provides world-class training, nutrition, and fitness programs for his customers. The Fitness Culture gym and offices were created as a home base with the goal that it does what so many gyms that had done for Steve for many years. A place where you can work on your craft, chase your dreams, and just have fun. And above all, Steve wants to build a community at Fitness Culture. So he swapped out his APs that he was using before for our ALTA APs because it was a dusty environment. So the IP54 rated access points that he installed here help with that, and also it provided better bandwidth, throughput, and have exceeded his reliability as well. So music, streaming music was getting scratchy and being cut off at times. So he hasn't had any issues with our product and our access points since he installed. So he's super happy about our installs there. And actually, I lied. This is the last one. So here's a residential example story that I pulled up from our forum. Our access points are designed to be scalable. A single AP can cover a smaller home, while several APs can be used in larger residents with seamless roaming. Here's what he said on our stories section. He said, ALTA Labs and the team behind it are amazing folks. They are very open to discussion and are well on their way to making amazing networking gear. The industry desperately needs innovators again, and ALTA is here to deliver. Here are my pictures of my AP6 Pros where my Unify APs were and never will be again. And with that, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming out and listening to us today. We are active on our social media sites, so feel free to follow us on any of these that you do. I invite you guys to also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be able to do some more tutorials and videos directly from ALTA Labs. And then the link that I wanted to point out, the installer registration site. If you want to have installer or dealer pricing, make sure you register on our website and we can review and approve you. But it's pretty simple. Let us know if you have any questions. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us directly. Feel free to reach out to ISP Supplies directly and contact your account manager. They do have inventory and in stock and ready to go today. So, Matt, do you have anything else to add?
Nope, just the same thing. Feel free to email me, matt@alta.inc, and I'm really excited to see how it goes with if you try it.
Awesome.
That's a good point. My email is tony@alta.inc. So TONY@alta.inc.
Excellent. Great presentation. Thank you, gentlemen, for putting that together and going over all the info. We still have a little more time, so now it's time to review some questions that came in. We'll start with the first one here. First couple is about an on-premise or about the controller itself. So do you have plans for an on-premise controller? And also, do you have plans to charge for your controller in the future?
So I can take that one, Matt. So we do have plans based on the feedback that we are listening and hearing from our customers or potential customers. We have prioritized an on-premise controller. Probably won't be next week, but it will be in the works and has been prioritized. It's going to be probably the first quarter of next year is when we'll have the on-premise controller. And as far as our cloud controller, we are planning to come out with some premium features that may be paid for, but I would imagine only 1% of the people that might need that enterprise grade feature might need that paid premium. But I believe 99% of you guys will just need what we have out, which is our core controller. That will always be free. So our core software controller will always be free, and that's mostly what 99% of people will probably need.
Awesome. That's good news. Another question that came in is, where is your support team based?
Matt, go for it.
Yeah, I'll go for it. So like I alluded to earlier, we've been in the AV industry for 20 years, and that industry, not to put industries against each other, but that industry needed a little bit more hand holding. And we've been doing phone support in Utah for 20 years. And so yeah, right now the team is based in St. George, Utah. That's it. And then we might add people remotely. If I guess what I'm trying to say is we might add people that we've known, you know, from Tony and my background at Ubiquity that are good people that we might add in the US or South America for multilingual support and things like that. But currently the headquarters is in Utah and we have a team there doing phone support and chat support. So right now it's in Utah.
That's great to hear. US-based support is very important, you know, to get those answers when you need them. Let's see here. One more question is, what hardware will be seen at WISPAPalooza, either at the ISP Supplies booth or the ALTA booth? I can partially answer this one. ISP Supplies, we will be at booth 111, and ALTA Labs will be our neighbor at booth 109. We're going to make sure that we have at least the AP6, AP6 Pro, and if we can get our hands on any of the switches, we'll definitely have them there for everyone to be able to see in person, pick up the product, actually get your hands on the products, and ask any questions that you may have.
Yeah, so we plan on having all of our switches there, and we'll have a live controller that you guys can play around there as well. So we're excited. Most of our team is going to be at WISPAPalooza, so make sure you guys sign up for that show and come visit us. We're excited to kind of get out there again and seeing a lot of our friends that we've created and made over the years.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great time. Amazing show. So that is all the time that we have today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Also, a very special thank you to Matt, Tony, and the rest of the ALTA Labs team for putting together today's presentation and for developing such an impressive line of products, too. So a recording of this webinar will be available on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/ISP Supplies, as well as shared on social media. So please make sure to subscribe and to follow us. And as Tony and Matt mentioned throughout this presentation, please join the official ALTA Labs forum at forum.alta.inc. And we also have the ALTA Labs unofficial Facebook group for anyone who would like to read up a little more, discuss with others, share your ALTA experience, etc. So yeah, we're looking forward to connecting with you online, and we hope everyone has a great rest of your week. Stay safe out there, and until next time.